What I'm currently doing though is digging this channel. So we've basically got some twin duct conduit pipe designed for exterior, which is going to go down this channel, feed it all the way down, and then come out at the end here, and then back in. So that means once we start doing the electrics, then we can just channel it straight through, and that will go straight underneath down to the back of the house. So I started digging this section out, and as you can see, I've connected the two pipes. So this currently goes to about here at the minute. I'm going to try and push it all the way up, and then continue to run the pipe down. As you can see, I started digging the channel out. I think they normally say it needs to be about 500 mil or 50 centimeters. Right, apologies about the poor lighting, but we've buried the conduit now, and I've backfilled it. And then now what I'm going to do is place the caution cable. As you can see, the conduit just sticks out the top there, which will channel into that pipe. So I'll stick this, and then I can backfill on top. We've laid our electrical tape covering caution electrical cables below. As you can see, the tape is underneath, and we're now just backfilling with soil. So I've now compressed the soil down using this plank, just literally stepping on it, and I think we're now at a good level. Right, so cable is buried. We've put our matting down, we've sprayed weed killer underneath, and now we're ready to put our stones on. So right guys, if you are lucky enough to have neighbours like me, then I've had my neighbour help me out with this basically. So my little one pulled the string out, which I had originally running through there, but I ended up extending it anyway. So we've got our ducting that runs all the way underneath here, and ends up here, which then kind of has a little joint that comes out there, and that's going to be for the cables. So what we have is this little device, and it literally just feeds through, into here. So, and then it just keeps running all the way. It's absolutely fantastic. Hopefully it doesn't get blocked, but what we should get is it come out the other side. Right, so we had to abort that. We've done it this side. Reason being is because it's quite a sharp bend here, and it's not quite as smooth on the inner side as I thought. So when it was getting to this point, it just kind of was stopping, so I was able to get more force this side. So hopefully now we should be able to run that clearly through all the way to the other side. Our cable has come through perfect, so what we need to do is just tie some rope to that, and then just pull it back through, and then we'll have some rope in place ready for the armoured cable and network cable. So pipe, our cabling. Simon? Yep. You're a lifesaver. What, yeah? Yeah, perfect. Nice. So just to give you a present position with the electrics, so speaker cables, we run 2 sets of speaker cables, so that will equate to 4 channels effectively. Put 2 in the ceiling. I don't plan on using these at this stage, but in the near future I might want to add some additional ceiling speakers. What I'll do is I'll just note down on a sketch exactly where they are positioned, so I know where to drill to get access to those speakers. We've then run a continuous line for the rear channels, also speakers again, and then again along the same channel line I've run the HDMI cable, which will meet the projector. So those are the first set of tech speakers or tech cables, and then we've started our first fix electrics, but I can't complete it until I have installed this wall where the final sets of cabling will go. But essentially we've got our 2.5 mil twin and earth, which runs up into the ceiling. Now it is in a conduit which runs all the way along to here, and then it comes out here, so you'll probably be able to see the conduit there, and then that runs down there, across down there, where we've then got 2 cables that come out for our socket. That socket is going to be below the bar area, but it'll be pretty well protected anyway. That cable then runs back up through here, and then continuing again straight across here, where it comes over, does a loop to there where there'll be a single gang socket for the projector, and then comes back, then down, and then across into this final socket. So that'll be the final switch socket there. So far we've got in position 1, 2, 3, 4 sockets, and then we'll be moving. Once these walls are built, there'll be a socket here which will be for the inside store cupboard, which will house the printer and other media devices. And then out of that socket into this wall, which will be the final wall, which you'll see shortly, which will house another 3 sockets, then a further socket for the inside shed, and then a final socket for exterior. I might do a final socket for the exterior, I'm not too fussed, because if I've got an internal one for the shed, I could just plug into there if needs be. It'll only be for powering lawnmowers, things like that. So and then yeah, back up into the fuse board, which will be situated there. So right, so the electrician actually decided to run 3 separate radials because he felt there was too much power running through one radial circuit. So he split them down into a 2 4s and 1 2 circuit, meaning that there was sort of less chance of burnout throughout the system. So we ended up changing that slightly, but it wasn't too much of an adjustment. Put my pattress bars in. So I'll cut down, I've got my pattress area cut out already. Cut that down, stick it there, and that would be for the fuse board. Probably actually going a bit overkill, don't need to, because this section is going to be OSB'd anyway. If the electrician can come around and do all the final second fix electrics. So he's got to run the cable essentially, which will be where the fuse board is. So coming out of the side of the building, I'm assuming wherever he wants to put it, running down the front underneath where I've got these stones underneath, then into this pipe which was pre-done when I was doing paving. If you want to see the link to this video, then I will add it in the description below or up in the corner. But then we've got our flexicon, which runs along here all the way down the side underneath this patio, and then comes out in a pipe somewhere in that corner. So we'll run the armoured cable from there, probably under this slab, and then just run it along the wall. I can't be bothered to dig out unnecessarily. There's loads of cables running along this wall already, so it will come out to the front where the fuse board is. I've got to change the fuse board as well, because that is very old and won't meet regulations, so I've got to get a new fuse board there as well. My garden bed still holding up. If you haven't seen that video, check the link, whichever way it is, on how to build a raised flower bed. But yeah, see you in a bit.